We're calling to order the East Point Community Schools Board meeting at 6:30. Please call the roll.
Dr. Early.
Present.
Mr. Williams here. Mr. Roscoe.
Present.
Mrs. Richardson.
Present.
Mrs. Chopra.
Here.
Mrs. Whitby.
Present.
And Mr. McCain. Here.
Okay, 7 present. Can we please have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Zan Zander?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, next, can I please have approval of the agenda?
Place forth a motion to approve the agenda in its written form with all
Seconded.
corrections.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda by Mr. Roscoe, seconded by Mrs. Whitby. Can you please call the vote?
Mr. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mrs. Whitby.
Yes.
Dr. Early.
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes. Mrs. Richardson.
Yes.
Mrs. Chopra.
Yes.
And Mr. McCain.
Yes.
Thank you so much. 7-0, motion carries. Next, we have a request for approval for the consent agenda.
So moved. Support.
With motion and support from Mr. McCain and Mr. Roscoe, can you please call the vote?
Mr. McCain.
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe.
Yes.
Dr. Early.
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes. Mrs. Richardson.
Yes.
Mrs. Chopra.
Yes.
And Mrs. Whitby.
Yes.
Thank you so much. With a motion, a vote of 7-0, motion carried. Next, we have superintendent's report.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Board of Education, and for those of you joining us in our audience and online this evening. This is your superintendent's report for December 8th. Maybe. All right, there we go. I'd like to express a heartfelt thank you to all of the support and the staff at Pleasant View Elementary School. We've had an incident last week that none of us could control, but what we can control is how we show up in support to our students, how we show up in support to each other, how we show up to our families and our community. And I'm very proud of this organization, from the executive offices down to the leadership at the school, as well as every teacher and staff member at Pleasant View, also to the Macomb Intermediate School District for their timely support and response. So a big thank you to our team. We'd also like to celebrate this evening the memory of David Scott. Mr. Scott was a valued paraprofessional who joined Pleasant View last year and made a meaningful impact on our students and staff. In my time at Pleasant View coming in to visit, Mr. Scott could always be found with a gaggle of boys following him around. He was the guy that if a student couldn't stay seated or was struggling with an assignment, he took the time to be present to them, to listen to them. He was a fantastic human being, and it was our privilege to have him serve in East Point, even for a short time. Our thoughts and condolences are with him and with his family, as well as the staff at Pleasant View. Congratulations to East Point High School Library. A number of years ago, we started to make libraries an important part of what we do here at East Point Community Schools to increase the love of reading and access to literature. Cynthia Williams Sandoval is our current librarian. She applied and wanted to get some recognition for all of the work East Point High School has done on its library. And we weren't just recognized, we were recognized an exemplary media center in using the evaluation systems of the Library of Michigan. EHS is one of just 2, school libraries in Macomb County to be recognized as exemplary. A big shout out to Cynthia Williams Sandoval, Principal Todd Yarch for all of the work, Assistant Superintendent Stephanie Fleming for continuing to keep a focus on growing access to literature and to books across East Point Community Schools. Part of this recognition, just to give you information on how this is assessed, is there's 4 big areas: school and district infrastructure, how we staff, how we provide resources for our library, how we build the learning environment. We recently purchased new library furniture, creating a welcoming access, how we integrate library sciences into curriculum and information technology, and leadership in our community. So congratulations to East Point High School. What an honor and distinction to have an exemplary library in our community. Congratulations also goes to the culinary students. Unfortunately, I was not able to attend and eat all of the desserts, but we did place 3rd at the dessert competition, and it was a Dubai chocolate cheesecake that did it for this team of CTE students. Congratulations to them and their teacher leader, Chef Shoemake at East Point High School. We're working on expanding students' access and knowledge to opportunities outside of K-12 education. And we'd like to recognize East Point Middle School for inviting and bringing in SVSU representation to talk to 7th graders about college and career, as well as how to start to prepare for college at a 7th grade level. So a big thank you to East Point Middle School staff for creating these opportunities for our students. We are opening limited schools of choice for 2nd semester. The application will open on Monday, December 29th. The deadline is January 15th. A good and a bad thing, we are only opening limited seats. That means that we only have space for a select number of seats across the district. If you are interested in becoming a student here at East Point Community Schools and do not live in the area, this is your chance to enroll your student. These are the limited seats that we have available. Our office can support you in helping you through that application process. Winter sports are underway for boys and girls basketball, high school wrestling, competitive cheer, and bowling. Our East Point Middle School basketball team recently went to a high school varsity game to cheer on the Shamrocks. Love the spirit. Big announcement for us, Coach Edwin McDonald has been offered and accepted the head football coach role at East Point High School. For those of you following Shamrock Athletics, Coach Mack has run 2 undefeated seasons of 8th grade football and left it the opportunity to be the lead football coach for East Point High School. As you can imagine, the athletes are ecstatic to follow Coach Rock into the high school, and we are looking forward to next year's high school varsity football season. Next up, I'd like to invite Principal Julie Piper to present. One of the things that we've established here at East Point is a calendar for all of our schools to come to the board meeting and share a little bit more about their school community, some points of pride, as well as some plans for the future. So welcome, Principal Piper. The floor is yours.
Thank you. The green light's on, so it's on, right? Okay, thank you, and thank you for having me. I am Julie Piper. I'm the principal at Bellevue Elementary. So this is our purpose statement at Bellevue Elementary. Our purpose is to ensure that all students receive a quality education and are empowered to achieve academic success and develop into socially competent citizens. Through collaboration, we will create opportunities where every student and adult feels valued, celebrated, and challenged to meet high standards. So we are here for academics, but we are also here for the social, emotional, to have well-rounded citizens. So this year, as you guys know, we are no longer a 3 through 5 building. We are now a K through 5 building. So there have been some changes. We have, actually, as of today, we have 293 students. We are enrolling students almost weekly at Bellevue, probably across the district at the other as well. Good to hear. So we have 293 students across our kinder through 5th grade classrooms. We have 11 general education classrooms. We have 2 self-contained classrooms. We offer music, gym, art, and STEM classes. We have after-school programs. Some of the after-school programs that we have right now are a green team, our Planet Protectors, and that is run by Ms. Rose Hess and Mrs. Brooke Van Ree. We also have a leadership program that is run by our social worker, Ms. Debbie. She also has, Ms. Debbie, our social worker, also has a girls group, all things girls, to empower them to be strong young ladies. And then we have a boys program, which is generally based around sports. We will also be offering a knitting program. We started that last year with our media para, Miss Gail Cram. There was an interest in that. She offered it, and the kiddos were interested in doing that again this year. We will also have our annual, memorial walk, and the students will have some opportunities to work through with our social worker a grief program. And then we will, I think this is our third year, that Mrs. Van Ree, Miss Kidd, and Miss Groves will offer the Girls on the Run program. And that is that they meet weekly, and then it's a culmination where they all go out to one of the parks down there. And all of the girls in the Girls on the Run program from across the county run a 5K. And then we have family events. We have a family event coming up next Thursday. Those are our girls, actually, in that photo, and our Empowering Girls group. And so I think the next slide has some of our family events. We have our monthly and quarterly awards. Those two photos are from our first set of awards, and we have a lot of kiddos. So we broke that up into 3 through 5 and K through 2 because we invite our families to come in and help us honor the students that are getting awards for honor roll, star student, perfect attendance, good citizenship, and those are their families around them. So I think the top is the K2 and the bottom is the 3-5 and then their families. We had our second annual Harvest Festival. We did have to move it indoors this year because weather. We have our Winter Blast next week, which of course will be indoors. We have our African American History Celebration that we started this year in the spring, and it was a huge hit, and our staff and students and families enjoyed it, so we will continue that in February. And then in the spring, we will also have a math and reading game night. All of these family events are run by staff members. They decide the theme, they decide the activities, they do all the planning, they do all the organizing, and I just show up and do whatever they tell me to do that evening when we're there. And of course, we have a great turnout. Our families really enjoy that. This is the photos on the right are from our fall festival, so there were some activities going on. And then the photo on the left is a family engagement. So Mr. Crane, you can see him in the back there, cooks a traditional Thanksgiving dinner for his class, brings it in, invites their parents, and that was the Monday before Thanksgiving when they had a traditional Thanksgiving feast in their classroom, sponsored by their teacher. So at Bellevue, we have some lofty goals this year around reading and math, around literacy. So we obviously want to increase our literacy and math proficiency across the board. It's, our information that you're going to see on the next few slides, don't go there yet, are based on 3 through 5 because those are the students that we had in the past. These goals are based on our K through 5. And so our school improvement team, these were the goals that they set for us to try to achieve this year. So we would like to see 40% of our students reach grade level by the end of the year on iReady literacy. And we would like to see 30% of our students reach grade level on iReady math by the end of the year. And we want all of our students to be on grade level for all of their academic areas, but we know when students are starting 3 or more grade levels below that it's going to take time to get them up to the grade level. We would like to see both in reading and math a 3% increase in our MSTEP proficiency. And so the top graphs or bars, are our iReady data from last year. iReady is our Tier 1 instruction that you guys so graciously purchased for us over the last couple of years. So in the fall, the bottom lighter colored line at the top is the fall data, and then the top line is the end-of-year data for our 3rd through 5th grade students that were at Bellevue last year. We had 21% of our students that were on grade level at the end of the year for reading, and like I said, we're trying to get to 46% this year. This year, we've started off at 8%, now that's kindergarten through 5th grade, which is about where we started last year with our 3rd through 5th graders. And then for our math, we ended the year with about 16% on grade level, where we only started with 2%. And then this year, we've already started a little bit ahead of the game from where we were last year at 3%. And our goal is to get 30% of our students in that green area. So we have a lot of good teaching and learning. Like I said, our iReady is our Tier 1 instruction, and that is what our teachers spend the majority of their day doing. We as adults have to have professional learning opportunities to make sure that we are implementing our curriculum and our curriculum resources to the best of our ability. So these two photos are actually teachers in learning, because we are also always learning. We are doing a book study as a building on visible learning to increase student engagement. We have weekly PLCs. As you guys know, our students arrive late on Wednesdays to give our staff an opportunity to be able to work together on looking at our data, planning based on that, implementing the curriculum. And then our instructional coach works on targeted instructional coaching cycles, and that looks a little bit different for each teacher depending on their needs. And then we have daily and weekly walkthrough and feedback conversations. And then we just have some, the last few slides are some in-action iReady in teaching and learning. So this is Miss Van Ree's 1st grade class. She was actually showing them something that they were going to have access to all the time in a folder at their desk, so that they would be able to refer to it, to be able to refer to sounds. And then you can see in our kindergarten class, we've got students interacting. So students teaching students, teacher helpers. And you can see in a lot of these photos that teachers draw students into them to help get them engaged. And then we have interventionists that work in small groups with our students. This is Ms. Menino and Ms. Cap doing some small group intervention, some math and some reading. Again, we have students leading some of the learning in the classroom, teachers and students utilizing those Promethean boards that we are so grateful that we have, so thank you for those. Another small group intervention for reading with Ms. Taylor. And then again, teachers working whole group, making anchor charts. That's Ms. Kidd making an anchor chart. Mr. Crane reading a read aloud, and then following the iReady curriculum to inquire comprehension questions. And Ms. Stallworth, one of our self-contained teachers, hand over hand helping a student write, because our students are of all different ability levels and they need all different levels of assistance. And Mr. Hill, new teacher to Bellevue, he started in October, as he's a 3-4 split teacher, so that's already a bit of a challenge for him, but he is doing a phenomenal job. He had actually filled out a MEMIC grant at his previous school, but since he moved to this school, he was able to get that grant to move with him. So Mr. Hill was awarded a MEMIC grant. MEMIC sends out monthly pop-up grants that we apply for all the time. We were very excited that one of our own was able to win one. This one was for $1,000, so $500 went for him to his classroom, according to MEMIC, and the other $500 goes to the building to meet our needs. And that is our presentation.
Thank you so much, Julie Piper, for the presentation this evening. Does the board have any questions for Principal Piper?
questions?
I don't have any questions. I just want to commend her and her staff for what they do and the care that they're taking of our children. All of it seems to be geared toward their education, and that's wonderful. Especially, it's just something that's, and I see the kids interacting, doing on the board and everything as well.
The staff at Bellevue is phenomenal, and
Yes.
kids are first.
Yes.
Kids are first.
I just had one little thing to say. Sort of what trustee was just saying, when you have the right tools to perform what you need, that's our job. And to see the overflow and the excellence that's being brought back, showing that we're doing our job, and in your team, we just want to commend you on that.
Thank you, because without the resources that you guys I'm sure
Absolutely.
we have, we can't do the job that we need to do.
I had a question about the mentoring programs for the girls and the boys. Is that a weekly, monthly, or daily activity?
It's weekly. The leadership group meets one day a week, the girls meet one day a week, and the boys meet one day a week. So it's happening multiple days with the different groups meeting once a week.
Okay, and with the boys, you said it's mostly geared around sports?
That's where, yes.
They like.
What they do is based on a sport activity, and then they have, boy things that they work with our social worker. So she gears the different days to the different groups of students that she has.
Okay, thank you.
You good? Okay, I thank you, Principal Piper. What I wanted to say is not relevant to the actual school lessons. Mine is extracurricular. The person who is in charge of the knitting club, tell them to call me, because I have stacks and stacks and stacks and boxes of yarn.
Oh.
Yeah, because I make the hats for Hat Not Hate that I donate to the district, and I have a lot of yarn, so tell her to call me.
I absolutely will.
Yes,
Thank you.
I can donate some, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Julie Piper. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to welcome Principal Todd Yarch. I'm still in the superintendent's report. I'm going to welcome Principal Todd Yarch, and his guest up to the podium, that's right.
All right.
I'd like to introduce Shelley Woolley to talk a little bit more about the SME opportunity, and a big thank you to Shannon Williams, who's joining us from the Macomb Intermediate School District, for helping to create this match. So welcome, Shelley, to the podium, and Todd.
Good evening, everybody. We are very excited about an opportunity we have for our students moving forward, and tonight is kind of the kickoff of it. And Shelley Woolley is here from SME Prime to give you guys a little bit more about the program that we'll be entering into.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for being available for this opportunity. We are really, really excited to be bringing this to you. So I usually start these conversations by saying, raise your hand if you know what SME is, because most people, unless you're an engineer, don't. And I don't think we have too many engineers in this room. And that's pretty typical when I'm talking to educators. So if I said the National Federation of Teachers, all hands would go up, right? All right, so SME, the Society of Manufacturing Engineers. We are the trade association for all things manufacturing and engineering. And we're a group of we're a very large group. We probably have 250 employees. But our focus is on sharing knowledge, creating new knowledge, distributing knowledge, just elevating the entire field in all areas of manufacturing and engineering. Well, we also want to inspire, prepare, and support that next generation of manufacturing and engineering, right? Because our members, frankly, want to retire at some point, and they can't do that if they don't have the positions backfilled. So we have a small component. One of our business units is the Education Foundation, and we address these responsibilities to inspire, prepare, and support through 3 different distinct programs. one of which is scholarships. We give away $1.5 million in scholarships every year. We are the largest organization that gives scholarships away in manufacturing and engineering in North America. We, at our trade shows and conferences, we have a special activity called Bright Mind Student Summits. Those are single-day events where people come, students and their teachers come in, spend the day at a conference, participate in an activity designed for them, and then they walk the showroom floor and they meet manufacturers. And then in the middle is the program that I'm in charge of, PRIME, and that's what I'm here to talk to you about tonight. PRIME is an acronym. It stands for Partnership Response in Manufacturing Education. And what we do with PRIME is we bring 360-degree holistic programs of instruction to high schools in the United States. And we have the opportunity to be bringing this program to East Point High School, and I'm very excited because East Point High School kind of liked the idea, so we're off and running. When I talk about this program, I am talking about an investment of about $500,000 in resources that are coming in. And we're going to be bringing all of the curriculum that's needed to run the program, all of the equipment that's needed to run the program, all of the professional development that's needed for the teachers to run the program. And before we bring all that, we're going to do a community needs assessment. We need to know what jobs are in the community that are going unfilled. And then we need to know what employers are looking for in those jobs. And we're going to look at the region and do a regional market analysis. And from all that information, we design that curriculum plan that specifically reflects your community. What we don't want to do is invest in developing skill sets for students for which there are no jobs in the community. Makes sense, right? So I'm trying to talk very briefly. I didn't ask you how many minutes I had, but I'm going to be short. For your information, when we do come into a school, we're automatically going to resource 4 pathways of instruction. We're going to start with precision measurement. We think all students need to know how to measure, no matter where they're going. So they're going to learn how to do precision measurement, and we buy the equipment for that, and we have the curriculum for that. We are going to provide instruction in CAD/CAM, that's design, computer-aided design. That builds off of the ability to measure. So students are now going to create something. And it's not very fun. I have a 15-year-old granddaughter. It's not very fun if you design something and you measure something, but you don't get to make the something, right? So we're going to bring additive manufacturing, which for all of us is 3D printing. We're going to bring in what we call a Stratasys F170 3D printer. That is an entry-level industry-grade 3D printer. Now, why do I bring that up? Again, tying back to manufacturing in your community. The materials that we bring, the equipment that we bring is all industry-relevant equipment, brand new equipment. This is not the equipment that you would use necessarily in your garage. This is what a student would expect to see in the manufacturing floor. If we're doing a mechatronics program, we're going to bring in robot arms, and they're going to be FANUC or Universal or ABB or KUKA or whatever is relevant for this area, because we want those students trained up on equipment that they can walk down the road and get a job using, right? So that's kind of what the first year looks like. We're also going to bring the students the classroom set of either VEX or Tetrix robots, these little remote control vehicles that the students work together to build, and then they run up and down the hallway, and then the student says, "You mean I can go to high school and play with a remote control vehicle?" "Yes, you can." "Well, sign me up for that class," because that's the whole point, right? Sign them up for the class. It's a 4-year program. That's what the first year looks like. The second year is going to dive deep into one of the elective pathways, and that comes to us from all that community research, right? It could be welding. It could be machining and fabrication. It could be industrial maintenance. It could be mechatronics and robotics. I will tell you, across the country, large need and demand for mechatronics and robotics. I started with SME almost 7 years ago. We had about 40 schools in the program. We now have 118. We're in 25 states. And I will tell you the vast majority, 65%, are receiving programs that have a focus in mechatronics and robotics. So I wouldn't be surprised if that emerges here. But it could also be machining and fab or welding, depending upon the needs. So that's what we bring. Why don't you advance the slide? I want to tell you what's included. When we're investing in a school, all of the investment comes from outside of the school. We do not ever come into a school and ask a school to pay for the program. In fact, we're barred from doing that. So this is going to reflect an investment, a public-private partnership that we have with the state of Michigan. These are state of Michigan funds that we're bringing to the table and flowing through in the PRIME program. So it came to the foundation and then we're delivering it out. Our curriculum plan, I already told you, is based on research, locally based input. It includes, it is mapped out over 4 years. We comply with the available time at the school, whether it's 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, we're gonna work with the school on that. We're gonna call out any state standards that the program aligns to, the federal SIP codes. This is sort of for your curriculum and instruction folks. For each piece of equipment, there's an industry-recognized certification. That tells the future employer what the student knows. We like those. That's our currency. So we are going to encourage the school and the teachers to enable those students to earn those industry-recognized certifications. I had a gentleman in Georgia interrupt me during one of these presentations 2 years ago, and I got to meet him a couple of months ago, actually. And he said, Shelley, I want to stop you. I want the teachers in the room to understand something. If those students have earned a certification in precision measurement, he's in the flooring industry in northern Georgia. He said, I will hire them at $60,000 a year, regardless of whether or not they have a high school diploma. So that's what those skill sets translate to, right? So we're going to bring all the equipment that's needed. Normally about 70% of a budget goes to equipment, brand new equipment, materials, and supplies. We're going to design the curriculum, bring anything that the school needs to be able to deliver on the curriculum. We will pay for those certifications. We're going to provide the professional development for the teachers. That includes the travel to the professional development location, tuition, accommodations, meals, all of that. We are going to provide a carve-out for student engagement. A student can't be what they can't see, right? So we set aside around $15,000 to pay for field trips, the bus, to pay for an after-school program, to pay for Skills USA. If you're gonna bring students to compete in Skills USA, we'll help pay for that. We understand that they cannot be what they can't see, so we're going to facilitate that. I've talked about the scholarships. If we have a student that wants to go on into post-secondary education, we want to help them. So we love to give away money to PRIME students. And then program sustainability. So oftentimes, when I am having this conversation, one of the questions I get is, yeah, you're going to be around for a couple of years with us, but what happens when you leave? What's the residual cost to us? What are we on the hook for? We brought that back to our board of directors and told them that there was hesitancy because of that. And they said, well, we got to solve that. They created $1 million sustainability fund that we fundraise for completely separately. And when a school's budget has completed, that school, when they report out their year-end metrics, how many students were in the program, what certifications did they earn, the last question is, do you need any funds to keep the program running? And of course, the answer is always yes, right? And so we will award anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 per year to keep that program going. It can be used, if there's been staff turnover and we need to retrain staff, it can be used for that. It can be used for supplies. It can be used to maintain that student engagement program. And in that way, we are keeping that program going. What we don't want to do is bring a very large investment to a school only to see it collect dust a couple of years later. Can you advance the slide? So the next question I get asked is, does it work? And this is my last slide, so you're in luck. I'm going to pause now. So the question is, does it work? Well, we think it does. We think it's the most comprehensive program out there. I haven't seen anything like it. And our students seem to indicate that it does. If a student has spent 4 years in the program, 91% of those students, as they're exiting in their senior year, they tell us that they plan to pursue careers in manufacturing or engineering. And you can see the breakdown. A little over half say they want to go into higher ed, 33% to a four-year university engineering program, no doubt. Two-year schools to a technical program, about 22%. About 28% told us that they had accepted an apprenticeship or were planning to go to trade school, and then about 17% were going straight into the workforce. So we're very excited to be bringing this to East Point High School. And I have to tell you a little funny, nuanced story. The young lady who will be overseeing this program from my team, she's an engineer. I've already told everybody she speaks in bullet points, not narratives. So if you need more sentences, call me. Her family attended East Point High School. So she was on the phone with one of her brothers, and she said, I was in the auditorium that you were in, or the theater, I guess, maybe the theater, yeah? Yeah. So we've got a family interest now in making sure that this is a successful program. So thank you for letting us bring this to you, and I'm available to answer questions if there are any.
Great presentation. It's exciting just to hear about it. I'm an actual engineer. I was an engineer, GM for about 3 or 4 years once I came home in '91. And it was, I started at an apprenticeship program, and we designed the first electric vehicle for, at the time, Saturn. So we had to do the manufacturing, pull the prints. We had to read the prints, put them in the machine, pull the parts out. We actually did it by hand, but the machine.
No, I didn't make any robots or anything.
No.
But I'm almost tearful to hear this program coming to East Point. And you answered the question already, but I don't want to sound so repetitive, but you mentioned the state having something to do with that. And I said, oh, Lord, appropriated funds. I don't trust them.
We already have it. It's already our money.
So you answered that question, that it's already
We've got it.
backfilled with
It's not
dollars
going
coming in, and you won't disappear in 2
I've had it
years.
for a year now.
And the biggest thing is, irregardless if they went 4, and I'm not trying to make any rules, but they'll be job ready for
Yes.
something.
Yes.
And that is huge.
Yes.
And I think it's a great program. Principal York, a couple more years on your contract. You can. Great
Okay.
job, great presentation.
Okay, and I had a question as well. When you started off, I had a question because you said that to begin, you're going to go into the community to see the needs of or whatever the community is looking for.
Yes, ma'am.
So that you can do your program. Then I think you answered, but then you said that they have to be, what about those that's on the outside? But then I think you answered it because they will be able to utilize whatever they learn outside of the community, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
and then I was okay, and then you mentioned something about how many you're going to continue the program and not just drop off.
No.
But what is the what's the number? What is it that's going to make them, that they're going to continue?
Yeah.
Do we need 400, 300?
Percentage.
So we're going to stay with you. This is, how do I say, that initial investment, that period of that investment to get everything up and running takes about 2 years. The program is mapped out over 4 years, meaning that there's content that's delivered in grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, and that will continue until the day 50 years from now, when you don't want to do this anymore. I'm sure the technologies will have, I'm
Been a change,
going
then.
big here. I'm sure in 50 years, the
Okay.
technology will have changed, yeah.
Okay, I can see that,
But
okay.
it'll be maintained. And so what happens 3 or 4 years from now when we need to buy new filament for the 3D printer? Or when you've brought on a new teacher because the program's growing and you can't just have one teacher, now you need 2 because it's been so successful. So you're going to use that sustainability money to help provide professional development for that new teacher, to buy filament. to buy anything that's needed to keep that program going year to year to year to year. So we're with you for the long haul. We have not turned anybody away. I just signed off on 48 schools receiving a total of $395,000 in sustainability money. The last check's going out this month.
Okay, so it's well thought out, okay, all right.
Well, you know what's neat is it's run by educators. We had the option, I'm retired out of higher ed. I was the lead student affairs officer at a university here in Michigan, and I did a lot of grant writing myself, and my colleague and I started on the same day. He too was a retired dean out of a college in Ohio. I'm sorry, my son played football for the University of Michigan, so I have to kind of look the other way. But anyway, he's a good guy. I can't remember the point I was trying to make. The key point here is that we had the option of bringing manufacturing personnel into the program and teaching them about education, or bringing educators in and helping them understand about manufacturing. Because we've got to bridge that language, right, between the two. That's part of this issue, is that they're not talking to each other all the time. And we chose deliberately to bring in educators. And so that's why you see this written with such a bias towards supporting education.
I'm an educator, so I understand that.
Yep, indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shelley, and thank you, Principal Yarch. We appreciate you both.
Thank you.
So I'd like to remind our community of some upcoming events. On December 17th, East Point High School will be having its holiday concert at 6 p.m. That is followed after a full-day matinee for our elementary school students. By popular demand, the Drama Club will be repeating their show on December 17th. December 18th, Pleasant View Crescentwood will have their holiday performance at 5 p.m. at East Point High School. I'd like to applaud both Pleasant View and Crescentwood for working together to do that show for families. And then December 22nd through January 4th, we will be on holiday break, and there will not be school. Central office will have limited hours during that week. And that concludes the very robust superintendent's report for this evening. Thank you so much.
It wasn't that, yeah. Thank you so much, Superintendent. Next, we have our first hearing of the public at 6:13. Is there anybody who wishes to be heard? It's agenda items only. I'm sorry, that's 7:13, not 6:13. Is there anybody who wishes to be heard? It's agenda items only.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of, this is on, right? Yeah, it's on. John Grunberg, I guess I'm kind of sneaking up on an agenda item, considering that the superintendent's report is an agenda item. Therefore, any presentations done within the superintendent's report therefore become an agenda item. I didn't want to seem like a smarty pants. SME, yeah, I do know what it is. I graduated from a four-year college. I have a degree in industrial management. It was at the time. Now it's considered industrial engineering. I have a daughter-in-law who's actually a mechanical engineer at one of the big three. And my son is a project manager now at the company that I work for, which happens to be KUKA, Automation North American Operations. And I've been in the trade for over 40 years. Or not over 40 years, close to 40 years, I'm sorry. Don't want to misspeak. I just want to say I'm very, and I don't know, you got to help my memory. I know usually you don't answer questions. When did you walk through our plant? How long ago was that? It's been a few years now, right? But I actually had the superintendent walk through our plant in Sterling Heights to show her what this could be.
Well, it's going
And what it could be. And
Mr. Grunberg, you're supposed to be talking to us.
And when I saw that, I was very happy to see this being brought in. I kind of hope I inspired it. Don't know if I did, don't care, really, at this point, but it's here. The only thing I would suggest, my observation.
Mr. Grunberg, you're supposed to be talking to us.
Well, she can hear, you can hear me, right? She can hear you. The only suggestion that I would have is, based upon my observations on the floor and the number of employees that we use, contract employees, actually that come in from the outside the country, because we don't have the people to fill these positions.
Okay.
Okay? And I also, knowing what I know on the ground floor, is I saw the bubbles up there, and they were great. There was one where I would think I could like to add a little something, where you had scholarship. How about scholarship and placement services? Because I think a lot of students need to understand that they can transition right from high school to a well-paying job in the field if they run through a program like this. Our students can come out of our high school making more money than kids that are coming out of college and getting a ground level. And I think the superintendent can attest to that. She talked to my plant manager and realized how much money people there can make. So, and with only a high school education. I think my 3 minutes are up. Thank you very much for appeasing me.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Grunberg. Is there anybody else wish to be heard? Okay, seeing none, hearing of the public closed 7:16. Next, we have Business and Operations Recommendation to adopt a resolution to join the Michigan Liquid Assets Fund Plus.
Good evening. I'd like to invite John Dean, Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations, to the podium, and he will introduce our guest. John.
Thank you, Superintendent Gibson. Board of Education members, as the superintendent's kept you informed, we've been working the past couple of months to make sure that we have the just right mix in terms of our ability to invest our funds. As you know, as a Board of Education, you've worked really hard to have a healthy fund balance, and we've been reviewing all of our investment options. As you know, at your most recent board member meeting, you approved Comerica to continue to work with us as our bank, but we are recommending at this point that we also form a relationship with MyLab. So I'm here to introduce Tasha Dent. Tasha is with PFM, and they manage MyLab Plus for school districts. She'll explain it better than I can, but it's a pooling mechanism for school districts and cities to put their resources together. You know, we can't just go and invest the district's money in just anything like a stock or a bond. There's lots of rules around how we do that, but this will be a way for us to take that money in this pooled environment. They would manage it for us at a rate of return that would be appropriate for us. Think of it like income for us. So I'm going to turn it over to Tasha to do a much better job of explaining it than I just did.
I think you did a great job. All right, well, thank you, board. Thank you for having me tonight. Thank you, John, for inviting me. So as John so eloquently said, I'm Tasha Dent. I work for PFM Asset Management. We are the administrators of the Michigan Liquid Asset Fund. And so MyLab was established about 1987 by the Michigan School Business Officials, Michigan Association of School Boards. And the reason why MyLab was formed was because schools didn't have a place to invest funds to get a good return, but they wanted the funds to be safe, but also have the liquidity that they needed so the funds would be available at the proper time. Now, a lot of schools were investing in banks and different things like that, and then some were investing in going to financial advisors, brokers, and investing in things that they really couldn't invest in. And so that's where the Michigan School Business Officials and they all got together and decided that they needed to come up with something that would adhere to the revised Michigan School Code, that would comply with, that was designed to comply with GASB, and so that the schools could understand what they could and couldn't invest in, and that whoever was the administrator of the fund understood what schools could and couldn't invest in. And there MyLab was birthed back in 1987. So what is MyLab? Like I said, it's Michigan Liquid Asset Fund. Let me say this first. How did PFM even become involved with MyLab? So I work for PFM. We are the administrators of the fund. So what happened is once the fund was established, which is a trust, once it was established back in 1987, they needed somebody to run it. They needed administrators of it. We have Troon Law that takes care of all the legal and compliance of it. We have Fifth Third. They are the custodians, so they hold all the money. I don't hold any money. And so they take care of that part. But they also needed somebody to take care of all the administrative things, and that's where PFM comes in at. And then we also are the marketers of it. And so what happened, they did an RFP. And then obviously PFM won back in 1987, and we are yet the administrators today. So we've been the administrators of the fund for almost 40 years. Michigan Liquid Asset Fund, again, it is a local government investment pool. Have any of you ever heard of a local government investment pool? Yes? Okay, perfect. And so basically, just like John said, it's a way for schools and municipalities, really municipalities, because MyLab has two classes. So there's a government class, which is Governments of Michigan Investing Cooperatively. That's going to be for your municipalities, your cities, your townships, your villages, and things like that. But then you have the MyLab portion, and that's just for schools. So we have two different asset classes within MyLab, okay? And what happens is all those funds are pooled together. And so basically there's not one person taking on all the risk. Everybody's sharing the risk, right? But it's not a bank. So you're not going to get FDIC insurance, and I have to make sure that I say that to everybody, because the first thing when I'm talking to superintendents, they're like, what about FDIC? And so there is no FDIC insurance because it's not a bank account. It is definitely an investment portfolio with securities inside of it. So what kind of securities are inside of it? So you're going to have some treasuries in there, some U.S. treasuries. You're going to have some agencies in there. You have some commercial paper in there. And all those things are what helps keeps the portfolio diversified. So even though you wouldn't have FDIC, what you do have is you're backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government because of the quality of the securities that are inside of the portfolio. So with the commercial paper, we only can invest in highly rated commercial paper. It can't mature past 270 days. So that's again part of GASB and things like that. So it's certain rules that we have. All of us that are administrating the fund, we are fiduciaries of the fund as well, which means we have to do what's in the best interest of the client. We are licensed representatives through the SEC and FINRA, so we are all held by a higher standard, and we're not just salespeople out here trying to sell something, but we also have to make sure that we're doing what's best for you and for the kids, right? And so with MyLab being the local government investment pool, like I said, there's no FDIC. It is not a bank. So in order to do your banking with MyLab, you would have to yet have another bank account because the only way to get funds in and out of MyLab is through transfer. So somebody may have an account with Comerica, as you mentioned. So you would still have a Comerica account and you would do ACHs or wires from Comerica or to Comerica to fund the MyLab account, okay? And then if you're gonna do wires into MyLab or out of MyLab are free, 3 of them per month. And then after that, they're gonna be $5. You can do any wires throughout the day. However, there's a cutoff time at 2 o'clock. It's been recently extended from 1 to 2. And any wires that are transferred, it's gonna be available same day if it's before 2 o'clock. If it's after 2 o'clock, it's gonna be available next business day. There's no minimum balance for MyLab. We do work with about 90% of Michigan schools for bond proceeds. And so because of that, we allow you to open MyLab accounts without having to have a minimum balance or anything like that. There is no monthly service fee. How do we get paid? Because everybody wonder, okay, there's no monthly service fees, there's no minimum balance. How do you make money? I'm glad y'all asked. That's a good question. So the way that PFM makes money, I want to draw your attention to the second sheet because I think it'll make more sense if I show you that. So when you look at the investment rates, I'm gonna start with the cash management class because there's 2 different types of investment portfolios you can have within MyLab. So cash management class, that's gonna be your completely cash portfolio. That's where you can move funds in and out. It basically behaves kind of like a checking account. You can write checks from it. That's where your funds are gonna be completely liquid. Then we have the MyLab Max class. That one's gonna behave more like a money market. So the funds that you put in there will be a little bit more long-term. Is everybody with me on the page? Okay. So if you look at the rates, look at the cash management class where the rate is 3.85%. And then you got the Max class at 3.99%. Looking at those rates, how do we get paid? These rates that you see here and the term rates, which I'm gonna go over, all of that is net of fees. So we take our fee off the top. So generally our fee is about 10 basis points. So every rate that you see here, that is a true rate, that's net, okay? So that's why you would never see fees or anything like that because the fund already pays us, okay, off the top. So you never see any fee to you or administered to your account. So let's go under where it says Michigan term rate. So what term is, Term behaves sort of like a CD, but it's not a CD, but it is an investment portfolio with the same type of investments inside of it. You got your treasuries, agencies, and commercial paper all inside of the portfolio. But this allows you to buy terms of the portfolio and have it mature at certain times. So as you can see here, let's look at the first one. You can buy a 60-day term. That's the lowest term that you can purchase. And then as you can see here, the rate is about 3.79. And then we can go up to as far as 365 days. Now, I know you're about to ask me, well, Tasha, why is the 60-day rate higher than the 365-day rate, right? Good, y'all got some good questions tonight. Well, the rates are, first of all, we are in an environment right now where the yield curve is a little inverted. And what that means is short-term rates are going to be higher than long-term rates because it's taken into account that we're in an environment right now where rates are projected to go down. Okay? So therefore, people will ask me, well, Tasha, why would I tie up my money more long-term knowing that my short-term rates are higher? And I say, that's a great question. The reason why you would do that, because let's think about it. Let's say the U.S. Treasury rates right now are about 3.5%. Well, the Feds are meeting, and they generally drop the rates about a quarter. So let's say you're at 3.5 right now, but you lock in today. Let's say they're projecting 2 more rate cuts by first quarter next year. So it's 3.5 now. By first quarter of 2026, it's going to be 3%. If you lock in at 3, everybody else is at 3%. If you lock in, at 3.5, the rest of the world is at 3%. So basically, even though you may be saying, okay, well, I might be taking a cut because I could actually do something long-term and stay at 3.8. Yeah, you could, but at the same time, if the rates are projected to continue to go down, you're locking in today's rates, and everybody else is going to get whatever they're going to be because they stay liquid. So there's an opportunity cost there now. If you stay liquid, keep in mind, liquid rates are variable as well. So as the Feds change the rates, your rates are going to fluctuate just like that. Okay. Now, the benefit of having an investment portfolio outside of just a bank account, in an investment portfolio, let's say in your portfolio, in the portfolio, the MyLife portfolio, let's say we bought a 2-year treasury, and it's going to mature at a certain time, right? So let's say the Feds change the rates, or let's say we bought some three-month maturities or anything like that. If the Feds meet, or when the Feds meet and they change the rates, inside of MyLife, you're going to see a lag in the rate change because inside of the portfolio, you have securities that haven't matured yet because everything is bought for a certain time, right? So where short-term rates are fluctuating, when the Feds meet, you see immediately your bank account rate is going to change, your HELOC rate is going to change, all those things are going to change immediately. With MyLife, there's going to be a lag because the portfolios inside, the securities inside of the portfolio have to mature as well. So you may see a lag in the rate change for about, depending on where, what we bought at the time. With PFM Asset Management, we are a major contender in this space. So we buy billions of dollars in securities every single day. We do about 3 billion in trades a day. So the brokers know us, they're very familiar with us. So we buy these securities in bulk, and then obviously that's how we can get these rates over to you. And so that's why a lot of the schools, they do. We have about 5,850 participants in MyLife right now. Our assets under management are about $70.9 billion right now. So we do a lot of business here. We do about 90% of the bond proceeds here in Michigan. So just if you didn't know this, PFM Asset Management, we used to be just all one company. And then back in 2023, PFM split. So there's a financial advisory side, and now there's an asset management side. So what I'm speaking to you about today is the asset management side. You might hear about a financial advisory side. That's who assists with issuing the bonds. Once you issue the bond and you get the funding, then we're going to be the ones that's going to invest it for you. We're the ones that's going to educate you about your cash flows, because one thing I'm noticing, and I've been doing this for about 6 years. I've been in finance over 2 decades, but I've been in government finance for 6 years. And the one conversation that I'm having to have with a lot of our superintendents, our finance managers, is about cash flows, because people really don't understand. If you don't understand your money, when it's coming in, when it's going out, you're not going to be able to take advantage or maximize your investment opportunities because you don't know when you're going to need the money. So I'll give you an example. I have some people who I've had to kind of coach and say, look, why are you keeping $3 million liquid? And they say, oh, because we might need it. And then I'll say, well, when's the last time you needed it? You know, and then they'll say, well, you know, anything could come up. And I said, but do you understand your cash flow? Do you understand when your money's coming in, when it's going out? What do you need it for? What time of the month do you have the highest balances in your account? Have you looked at that? A lot of times, I don't understand that. I haven't done that. And so what we offer is a complimentary cash flow analysis to assist our finance managers, superintendents, and things like that, to help them understand when their money's coming in and going out. And then that way, they'll know what they actually have available to invest, because the money that they leave liquid, if they don't invest it, then it's going to be subject to that rate decreasing environment that we've just talked about. As far as MyLaugh 2, MyLaugh, like I said, it was designed to comply with GASB 79. It's rated AAA by Standard & Poor's. What that means is it's a great vehicle for liquidity and it's a great vehicle for safety. Anybody who opens up a MyLaugh portfolio, you do have to comply with two-factor authentication. We do that for your security purposes. Like I said, we don't hold any cash. That's not what we do. This is an investment. So you don't have to worry about Tasha going in your account or anything like that. We don't have any access to your funds at all. Everything's at Fifth Third. Let me just see what anything else that I do want to say. Oh, has anybody ever heard of arbitrage? Do you know what that is? Yes?
I do, yes.
Okay.
They have too, from the bond perspective.
From
yes.
the bond
No, we are not shifting bond funds this time. I want to provide that level of clarity.
No, I just wanted you to know.
We
you
already
did
have an
that.
existing contract with UBM and Baker Tilly to do that piece, and that isn't what we're asking for today, and that's not part of your resolution. Great
Sure.
product, but I always like the board to know what we're asking for you. We are just asking for those first two MyLaugh class access for our district funds at this time.
Right. And I just wanted to educate you about
No,
the
it's great.
arbitrage, but if you don't want me to,
No,
I
you're
won't.
welcome to. I always I've been doing this for a while. And
Okay.
I always want every Board of Education I work with to know what we're asking of them.
Sure.
So we're not asking from the bond fund piece, and that's not what administration's recommending at this time.
Okay. And so, in closing, just to make, because I don't want to belabor your time anymore, the reason why now and investing in MyLaugh is a great idea, if you look at the rates and if you look at what's happening in our economy, in our world, you want to make sure it's your responsibility, it's the school's responsibility to make sure that we are being fiscally responsible with our funds. And if we're leaving funds off to the side, being lazy, not working for us, we are doing a disservice to the district, we are doing a disservice to the children. Investing in MyLaugh, if you look at the race, if you look at the safety, if you look at what MyLaugh has to offer, you look at the ability to diversify, then that would be a prudent financial decision for your school district, and it will be in the best interest of the children, because the more revenue that you have coming in, the more you can do for the kids. So I'm going to probably end there.
Let the church say amen.
Tasha, on behalf of the Board of Education, I don't know that we would have a lot of questions.
I
You've
have
provided us, I was
one.
wrong.
I have one.
Excellent job. So I'll let the board go.
Great
Thanks.
presentation, but I have one, and you may have already answered it, so please forgive me. This is stock-driven still at the end of the day. Am I correct?
None of this is securities as far as
It's-
bonds.
yeah.
It's
Let me
bonds in the
finish.
portfolio, not stocks. It's
Okay,
not a stock portfolio. You can't invest in stock.
But I'm leaning towards safeguards.
Yes,
So let's
yes.
get rid of that. What are the safeguards? And you may have already
So-
answered that,
Yes, so.
but can you reiterate?
Yes, absolutely. So the safeguards are, like I said before, it's the security, it's the quality of the securities that are within the portfolio. So you are only investing in securities backed by the U.S. government. You got U.S. treasuries, agencies, and commercial paper in there. So with that, with MyLaugh, you cannot lose your principal. I probably should have said that first, too. So whatever you, it's the.
That'd have been a good lead.
Thank you. I know, I was,
Value is $1. Okay? So whatever dollar you put in, you must be able to get that dollar back.
that's,
Okay.
I want to know.
So I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I had three, and like Mr. Roscoe stated, you might have said it, but, you know, we're in this area. When you were saying about coming in, knowing when to get the money, when to put in, we need to hire someone to just sit there and watch this. No. This is just me, because you said they need to know when to take it in, when to take it out. So do we need to hire someone to just sit there and watch this? Okay, now that's first one. The second one was, I think you might have said it, how much do you have to start with? And when is, you said there's terms, so that means there's a certain time we can take it out? And, okay, and then you know the administration we working in right now.
Sure.
Is, you know, and I'm sort of worried about that one.
And I want to help her understand. Can I
Please,
help her
no, please,
understand
and
that
then
part?
I would like to answer the cash flow piece, because it's not just in my lap, it's not the only answer the district is using. So no, go ahead and do your piece, and I'd like to kind of jump in a little bit there.
So and great question. When it comes to cash flows, what I'm saying by that is whoever is managing the district's assets, they need to have a good handle on how the money is spent, okay? They should know that. And so sometimes it is a little unsettling when I go into the districts and they don't have a full understanding of their cash flows. I mean, I think even if you're running a household, you need to know when your money's coming in and out, what bills you have to pay, what assets and liabilities you have. So it's not that you have to hire somebody to sit there and just watch it. It's just whoever's managing the district's assets just need to have a good handle of how the money is being spent. Okay, and then they need to know what funds they have left over that they can possibly take advantage of an investment opportunity if something comes up. Okay, so if they, like I said in the example, you have people leaving too much money liquid that they really don't need to leave liquid. So then that leads to what is called an opportunity cost, because they could be invested and they're not. And so therefore, if they knew that they didn't need the full $3 million, then they could be investing some of it and making a better return on it in some cases.
But taking it out,
Huh?
but taking it out.
Taking it.
You know, when, is there a certain time you
Yeah,
have
so
to
we can
take
talk-
it out?
So, as I meant, let me show you, let me lead you back to the second page. I'll put everybody back on the second page. As I mentioned, there's a couple of different options for MyLab. So your cash management class, the one that you see at the top, at the 3.85, that's your completely liquid portfolio. As I mentioned, that's liquid. You can do whatever you want to do, take funds in, out, you can do that as you want. And then with the max class, that's the one that's more like a money market, and you can leave the funds in a little longer. There is a 14-day hold on any funds that you would put in that one. The term under that is the one that you would buy in various terms, where you would buy 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120. That is the one that you would have to adhere to whatever term you bought. But that would not apply to the cash management class portfolio or the max class. So you can take the cash out at any
Variable.
time.
It's sort of like,
So
when we
let
do
me,
it.
if I can, mind, just how I can get the
Oh, go
microphone?
ahead.
I'm sorry. So just to answer the other part of Trustee Richardson's question is, how do we manage the cash piece? And I agree, we don't need to have someone else come in and do that piece. Transparently, every single day, I open up our Comerica two-factor authentication and I look to see how much money we have. Why am I doing that? I'm doing it for two reasons. One, because I'm tightly wound and I don't like surprises. And I can tell you pretty much every day how much I think is gonna be there, because it's gonna be the same as the previous day. I'm tightly wound. Okay? The second reason I'm doing is I'm trying to learn. I'm brand new to this district. Every home and every school district has like ebbs and flows of like when your cash is going in and out, right? Like some of you, if you have a mortgage, maybe your mortgage comes out on the 10th of the month. Another one of you, it might come out on the 2nd of the month, whatever day you set up, okay? The point is, like, I know for us, in 2 days, we're gonna magically, when I go into the office and I open my Comerica app, we're gonna have $847,000 less. Why? Because that will be the 10th. And on the 10th is when we pay people. So like, I know that we always have to have $847,000 the 2 times, ballpark, that's what this payroll is. Ballpark, each time we're gonna pay. I also know that we get from the state of Michigan every month except September. On the 20th of the month, we get our money from the state of Michigan, okay? So it's like this in and out sort of piece. We're very fortunate because of the work of this Board of Education. As you know, our fund balance is at over 40% at the end of the last year. That is, and I'm very open about that number, it's not a secret, we have $16 million in our checking account. If you have that much money, I would never recommend someone keep $16 million in their checking account, because your rate of return on that is very low. We need to leave lots of money in the checking account so we can make payroll. And because as the new guy, I can't tell you exactly like how much that ebb and flow is gonna be. Like, I've only been here 3 months. So we are gonna have, assuming you agree with what we're looking to do here, we're gonna have our checking account with Comerica. The last board meeting, we ended up having a kind of like a savings account with Comerica. There's a little bit more of a rate of return, if that makes sense. And then we have this model, which is still, all right, liquid, because we're not looking to do the term piece, because I can't tell you what to put in for 60 days or 120 days. I don't know that piece yet. Might come back in a year and say, hey, Superintendent Gibson and I figured some things out and we have some recommendations. Now I'm making that recommendation today, okay? But this would be a better way to get some rate of return. And we have $16 million. We're not sending $16 million into this account. We're gonna take a piece of that money and keep it in that space. Keep a close eye on what's going back and forth. And then feel free to ask the superintendent or me. I should be able to say to you every day, hey, John, ballpark, how much do we have today? And the day I can't answer that question, go ahead and find yourself a new CFO, because I think the CFO should be able to answer that question. So today the answer is about $16,470,000. That's the today number, okay? Can get you a tomorrow number, you can always just call my cell phone. We'll keep an eye on those sorts of things as we go through that piece. And we're not gonna put the district at risk in any way. Our biggest thing we pay, by the way, is payroll. And like I said, that's $850,000-ish. So we keep multiple millions in our checking account, we'll be perfectly fine to make that every time.
And that's an example of understanding your cash flows.
Right.
Great understanding of when their funds are coming in and going out. So in closing, the 3 pillars of MyLife are safety, as I started with that, safety, liquidity, and yield. Okay, that's the primary, those are 3 pillars that is built on. And then, like I said before, as you said, I should have led with that. There is a net asset value of $1 in the fund. So any dollar that you put into the fund, you have to be able to pull that dollar out. So you cannot lose your principal in this fund. Okay? And then, like I said before, you are backed, your security is you are backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government, and that comes from the quality of the securities that are inside the fund.
Right.
We only invest inside the fund in things that we know schools can invest in. We have a very great knowledge of the Michigan Revised School Code, and we understand what you can and cannot do, and we also know the fund is designed to comply with GASB 79. So all of that equates to safety for our school districts. And it was created by the Michigan School Business Officials and the Michigan Association of School Boards, who also understand what schools can and cannot do, and thought this was a great idea to help schools. And obviously, 40 years later, they were right.
Exactly. So you kind of answered my question already, but one thing I do like about the portfolio and the backing is when you said it's the government, the community or the city, everybody is buying into. So it's like we have Coca-Cola, IBM, and Comerica Bank all in that pool of money collaboratively. So it's hard for everybody to fall at the same time.
Right.
So that's the security and the protection of it. So yeah, I like that piece. Thank you.
That's a pool, exactly. Everybody's taking on the same amount of risk.
Any more questions? Okay,
Thank you so much for your time.
thank you so much. Okay, can you call it, do we have a motion? We need a motion to approve the resolution.
Motion to approve the resolution to join the Michigan Liquid Asset Fund, or MyLAF.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion to support by Mr. McCain and Mr. Williams. Can you please call the vote?
Mr. McCain?
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes. Dr. Early?
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mrs. Richardson?
No, I'm not comfortable with it.
Mrs. Chopra?
Yes.
And Mrs. Whitby?
No.
Okay, with a vote of 5-2, motion carries. Next, we have recommendation for approving for the change order for the bid package to replace the metal catwalk at the high school to meet requirements and safety expectations. This is the HVAC system.
I'm sorry, I apologize in advance for you having to see me twice. As this Board of Education knows, we've been doing some significant work in all of our schools, including at our high school. We have a large rooftop unit at the high school that part of that work was putting in a new rooftop unit. Upon inspection, the metal catwalk that used to surround the old one as we replaced it is no longer functional per the state inspector. Unfortunately, we have to build a new metal catwalk, and you have to remove a whole bunch of pipes to do that, build the catwalk, and then put a whole bunch of the pipes back on. None of us are happy about it. It wasn't something we could have anticipated, but none of us are happy about it. The good news is through the financial responsibility of this Board of Education and Administration. That's why we have contingency inside of all of our plans. You see that every time, and on a large project like this, there is enough contingency to cover the cost of this approximately $100,000 change order. It's a large enough change order, though, that we wanted to bring it to the Board of Education for your awareness and your approval. If you have any questions, I can answer some of them, but as my wife would tell you, I'm completely not handy. She thinks it's really funny that I'm kind of in charge of operations for the district. She feels I fail at that part at home. And we do have Mike from Barton Mallow in case anyone has a technical question, because Lord, you don't want me to answer that. So I'm happy to answer any questions, or have Mike answer the good, hard questions if you have any questions about that.
I don't have a question. I have a statement, though. As we were looking over the report, those whole 19 pages, I was impressed by the nuts and every bolt, every metal cap, every single piece we was able to see and understand where it's going. So I appreciate that y'all did that. I mean, like, literally, they had the picture of the item of what it was going to be to add. Every screw, everything. So I was impressed with that portion, because you didn't just slap a number and say, this is what we're charging you. You are showing us what we need for the project.
Thank you for that feedback. I will tell you, change orders are never something that the administration likes, and transparently, it's never something the construction management firm likes or the architect likes. So when this type of thing comes up, we have a lot of hard meetings even before you see it, and frankly, we're beating up on the contractors to try to reduce those sorts of prices, because no one likes to come back to the Board of Education and say, we need something different, especially at the tune of this dollar amount. Right. It's still appropriate, we still planned well for it, but I'll be honest with you, it's not something any of us are happy about.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is the contingency 10% that we set aside initially is not enough to cover this?
It is enough.
No, it is
to cover
enough.
it.
Oh.
So that contingency is set aside, and it's more than enough to cover this change order, but we wouldn't want to use those dollars without the Board of Education.
Okay.
Because there's a threshold,
Right.
I believe.
So it's, excuse me?
Isn't there a threshold number that we have to bring to the board, Superintendent Gibson?
Oh,
There is a threshold number. So our practice that we've been doing is that I have been approving change orders. This change order exceeds the amount that I am able to approve. The amount the board has approved that I can do to keep the work moving is $50,000. This is almost $100,000.
I had one little question. Okay, I'm good?
Yeah.
Okay, I seen a mouse run across it, and it had a price tag on it, too. Mike, this is a question for you. In your investigation and going over that scope, was there any other surprises that may arise
That's a good question. I like that one.
in that project? Because, you know, the element of surprise always, once you start tearing things and pulling on.
Always unforeseens in construction.
Yeah. Talking to Mike.
You open something up, you find unforeseen
Absolutely.
noise. And this project was bid pack 8, if you remember approving that one. We actually didn't have a ton of unforeseens in it. It's why we have all our contingency money left for the most part.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay,
Yeah.
We
good.
have a lot of unforeseens in this one.
Okay.
So we did pretty well on it. The catwalk was an unforeseen one, though.
Okay.
The
No,
high
no,
school
right,
has a lot of
absolutely.
them. It's an old building. There's miscellaneous stuff that we're gonna find as we proceed, so,
So to be part of that, we wouldn't have to put any more money in there?
no.
'Cause- Okay.
This
But,
will
I mean, like-
not require additional funds, nor will it require you to like make a hard decision and do something less somewhere
Okay.
else to do this. That's the purpose of contingency, is to
Right.
do this.
Because that's always my question. Did we add enough contingency
So we can
to
finish the
do
project.
some, that's always my question. So this is the first time we actually have ever had to use the contingency like this? Yeah. So,
We have used the contingency before. It has
No,
not
not to
had to
this.
come, this amount has not had to come forward on
Right.
contingency.
yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any questions?
Shanta?
No, you good? Okay, can I please have a recommendation for approval for this?
I recommend that we approve the contingent amount for the catwalk.
Support?
Okay, with motion and support from Ms. Chapa and, motion for Ms. Chapa, approval from, Roscoe second. Can you please call the vote?
Mrs. Chopper,
Yes.
Mr. Roscoe,
Yes.
Dr. Early,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes, Mrs. Richardson,
Yes.
and Mrs. Whitby,
Yes.
and Mr. McCain.
Yes.
Okay, with a vote of 7-0, motion carries. Next, I would like to make a recommendation to adopt the resolution for the 2% retention bonus on a MOU and contract addendum. I'd like to make that motion, please.
Second.
Jump.
Okay.
That was a close second. Who was?
Anybody have any questions?
Yes, Board President, I just have one. So I'm seeing this is using our ESSER funds again, so no, it's not? Okay, sorry.
In the planning period, we began using, in 2021, we began paying bonuses using ESSER funds. We've also used 21H funds when our staff attendance wasn't good. It was part of our improvement efforts. Now there is allowability, and in the previous school year, in 2024-25, there was allowability created for school districts in opportunity index bands 5 and 6 to use 31A funds for expanded purposes, including employee retention efforts. Our team has calculated and looked at our carryover from our 31A funds from last year, as well as the allowance that we have received this year. And we feel that to continue the momentum that we have built on retaining our workforce, we would like to continue to offer a 2% bonus. Not all employees will be paid with the 31A funds. The teachers and paraprofessionals will be out of 31A. Food service will be taken out of the food service reserve fund. Secretaries and administrators, central office will be taken out of the general fund.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, please call the vote.
Okay, Dr. Early.
Yes.
Mrs. Chopa?
Yes.
Mr. Williams, yes. Mr. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mrs. Richardson?
Yes.
Mrs. Whitby?
Yes.
And Mr. McCain?
Yes.
With a vote of 7-0, motion carried. It's always a pleasure to be able to give something back to our district.
Yes, it is.
Next, we have our second hearing of the public, opens up at 7:51. Is there anybody who wishes to be heard?
7.
Yes, Mr. Zander.
I just want to make it a little short. As you know, my name is Mr. Zander. As you know, that I was just thinking about crossing kids and for 33 years. As you know, I am going to retire. This on December 19th will be my last time. But I told my mom, I said, Mom, what do you want me to do? And she said, well, if you get a chance, why don't you and I come back to East Point and watch the sports? And I thought, that would be a good idea, because I love sports very much. And another thing I wanted to let you know is that if you don't mind, I'm gonna be moving down to Waterford, where my mom is at, because she wants to spend some time with my family. My family is down in Waterford, because as I was doing that, I just want to spend some time, and I don't know. It's going to be hard, but I like to come back. But Ms. Gibson, as superintendent for the schools, excellent job. I'm going to miss you, but I still got your phone number in my computer. Did I tell you that? But I'm still going to keep it up, and so do you, Miss Wendy.
Yeah.
I just going to, when I get to it, and I just take my time. If it's long distance, forget it. But I will call you to see how I'm doing. But this community for sports and things like that, I want to thank everybody for thinking about me as the ambassador for schools. But I got my name tag with me. I'm going to keep it. If I come back to the school, I'm going to wear it. I promise you, Miss Gibson. And I love you all. I really love you all. And but I promise.
All right, all right.
All right, with the stand up, we can do that for you.
Stand up for you.
I just think that I've just been taking my time. And Miss Fleming, you were really good as superintendent for Miss Gibson. And Dan, excellent job. Well, I have to get going, so please, I will come back and visit with you if I can. My mom promised me to come and enjoy my time. God bless you. If I don't see you, have a wonderful Christmas of 2026. Thank you.
All right. Is there anybody else wish to be heard? Mr. Gruber? Me too. Keep it moving, Mr. Bloomberg.
On the clock.
5. Mr. Grunberg.
Sorry for that. I've known Dan, I'm quite sure longer than anybody that sits up there. Gonna miss you, Dan. That's not why I came up here to speak. The reason I came up here to speak is because I saw a photo on Facebook well over a month ago that I found very disturbing. It was one of the board trustees, by the way, named John Grunberg, one of the board trustees that sits up there currently, socializing in what appeared to be an adult establishment with a Confederate flag prominently displayed on the wall. That board trustee then, obviously because I saw the photo, had a picture taken with it in the background. Knowingly or unknowingly, I don't know. Then, that board trustee posted it on their Facebook account. It was then pointed out to that board trustee how insensitive that photo was, and they pulled it down. Offered no explanation, no apology, and it's been over a month. That photo, it was very insensitive in my community. And I think my community deserves an explanation as to what, how, and why somebody would even be in an establishment with that hanging on the wall. Why would they take a picture of it prominently behind them? Why would they post it on Facebook? And then why would they, over a month has gone by, and not offer an apology or an explanation? And then finally, even if they do at this point, the question is, why did you wait so long? And to be quite honest with you, when I started looking a little further, I also found posts that were very disturbing that were liked by this individual as well too. I could read them, but I won't because I will not allow those words to come out of my mouth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grunberg. Is there anybody else wish to be heard? Seeing none, hearing the public ends at 7:58. Next, we have trustee announcements. Mr. McCain.
Thank you, Board President. Good evening, fellow board staff and the public. Just wanted to offer my condolences and send peaceful energy and thank Mr. Scott for his service to the district. Congratulations to Ms. Williams Sandoval for achieving exemplary status at our high school library. And congratulations to our culinary students and Chef Sue on their third place win. And congratulations to our new varsity football coach, Rock. And loved the presentation from Dr. Piper, so congratulations and keep up the great work at Bellevue students, staff, and Dr. Piper. In particular, I really loved all the extracurricular offerings and the students teaching students. And also, on the Bellevue note, congrats to Dr. Helen receiving a MEMIC grant. Thanks to Assistant Superintendent Dean and Superintendent Gibson for being good stewards of our money and resources. And also a special thank you to Superintendent Gibson for the tour of the middle school and Forest Park on Friday. It's always good to get into our schools and see all the great work that students and staff are doing. And last but certainly not least, Mr. Zander, thank you for your lifetime of service and Shamrock Pride for East Point Community Schools. We love you too. And my closing thought is not a quote. I just wanted to thank everyone who supported and or attended last week's East Point tree lighting. It was a beautiful snowy evening with carols, s'mores, Santa Claus, and holiday cheer. And with that, I'd like to wish everyone a happy holiday. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Chopper?
I don't have much to say this evening, just because you all know I get really emotional about the programs and things, but Bellevue and the high school are really making me proud to be on this board. And I thank you, Mr. Zander, for your service, and happy holidays.
Thank you. Mr. Roscoe?
Not a lot to say because I'm a quiet person.
Duck. Duck.
Mr. Zander, take your rest, buddy. 33 years, you deserve it. Enjoy the rest of your time with you and your mom. We're going to miss you, but every now and then pop up because I'm going to be watching you, see if you're going to ride past the house. Okay. To the Scott family, condolences. May you rest in peace. There's just so much to cover, but it's just when this board dig into something, something we hadn't had in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, no stone is unturned, and then we make a decision. And 99% has been the right decision, wouldn't you say? Mm-hmm. It's almost perfect. I'm the only one perfect. That's okay. But it's just great working, just great working with the board and this great administration led by Superintendent Gibson and the teachers and administration and vice. You know, just Merry Christmas and everyone. You know, peace, peace. That's what it's about. Peace.
Yes. Mr. Williams?
Thank you, board. Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, community. I'm excited about the program that's coming to the high school. Thank you, Superintendent and Principal Yarch. I'm also excited about Coach McDonald taking over the not college, but high school football program. I think that's a big win for us. Congratulations to Chef Shu and the culinary team, students. That was a great accomplishment. And condolences to the Scott family. He's going to be greatly missed. I'm just excited. I've had a few wins and close calls this past week with my health. So I'm just excited to be a part of this board and the support from the board and the community. So have a happy holidays. And last but not least, Mr. Zander, you are the man. Remember that your service is impeccable, you know. So hold your head up high and continue on the journey that's laid out for you. And thank you for everything you've done. Okay, and with that being said, happy holidays to everyone. Have a safe and happy holiday. And we'll see you in 2026.
Ms. Whitby?
condolences to the Scott family. Congratulations, East Point High School. They did a lot. The library, culinary, Coach Rock, that was all from the high school, correct? Yeah. Principal Piper, she gave a good presentation as well. Also, Ms. Dent, I voted no, but that's because I needed to get a better understanding of it. So, no diss against what you said. It was a good presentation, though, okay? And Dan the man, you will be missed. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, and all of the above to everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, myself is just a ditto to everything that everyone has mentioned. This has been a full session tonight, and from one to the other. Mr. Scott, condolence, and Dan, I thank you so much. As an educator, I know the love that you put in watching those children and protecting them, and I know Mr. Scott did the same thing. It takes a special person to be around our children and to love them unconditionally. All of them, as many as they put in your face and as many as cross your street. But I also want to thank the board because you have been a together group for me. You've been a comfort to me. You've been outstanding. You've been very helpful in helping to make sure that we get all of this done correctly. I'm proud to be on this board. I'm proud for the Chrissy. And y'all know I love Wendy. And I love all of you. And I am so grateful to have had the experience to be here and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time of the year that whatever you serve and whomever you serve, be grateful, thankful, and continue to put your arms around our children so that we can see them all in 2-6. God bless all of you.
Amen.
Thank you so much. I just want to say, Dan, I'm going to miss you.
Yes, Dan.
I'm going to, just like everybody else, so, just keep on, make sure you get in contact with us and let us know how you're doing. Just keep in touch, okay? And with that being said, meeting adjourned at 8:07.